I made you some breakfast.
What'd you put in that?
Salt and pepper.
Hi guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's a review of a scary movie with a true crime inspiration. It's currently in theaters, is available for early access rent or purchase through Amazon Prime, and begins streaming in a few weeks. It's definitely a film worth seeing. So let's get into it. Cut to Denver, Colorado, 1978. A middle school pitcher named Finney Blake is just about to strike out a heavy hitter named Bruce Yamada. Strike one, he swings and misses. Strike two, the kid can't get a break. Then Finney makes fleeting eye contact with Donna, his homeroom crush. He pitches the ball, and Bruce knocks it over the fence, scoring the game-winning home run. It's a seemingly benign opening to a horror movie, but telling just the same. On the way to the locker room, Bruce compliments Finney's pitching prowess. He says, "Your arm is mint. You almost had me." True horror fans may grasp the foreshadowing. This line is repeated more than once in the Blumhouse film, The Black Phone. Now, when I saw two different trailers for The Black Phone, I was definitely eager to see it. The poster, too, is creepy and compelling, with the tagline, "Never talk to strangers." I'm not likely to give away any spoilers here. The previews basically put it all out there, but it's the stylish handling of the material that makes this movie such a thrill ride. The Black Phone is about Finney Blake, a shy, reserved boy being held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic, masked serial killer. When a vintage wall-mounted landline phone starts to ring, despite being obviously disconnected, Finney is able to hear the voices of the murderer's previous victims from beyond their graves. Each murdered boy is dead set on making sure Finney escapes the grabber, so they feed him the details of their own failed escape attempts in the hope that he will save valuable time and break free. I was familiar with the Blumhouse Productions team, who delivered true terror with movies like Sinister, Paranormal Activity, The Invisible Man, and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The Black Phone, like other films from the franchise, offers the same quality of original scares, along with relatable, well-crafted characters like Finney and the Grabber, played by Sinister's Ethan Hawke in his first villain role. There's a familiar look and style to The Black Phone, which uses grainy Super 8 footage and crackling audio to ground the time and place. The music is top-notch, from the tension-building score to nostalgic music of the 70s. Free Ride by the Edgar Winter Group and Fox on the Run by Sweet are standout songs that lull the audience into a false sense of innocence and safety. The Black Phone started as a 10-page short story by writer Joe Hill. Born Joseph Hillstrom King, you could say the author of Heart-Shaped Box has the devil in his DNA. He comes from a family of writers, most notably Dad Stephen King. To his credit, though, Hill somehow resisted the temptation to capitalize on his famous surname, opting to forge his own writing career as Joe Hill. I didn't put it together until I saw a jacket photo. Hill's resemblance to his famous prolific father is undeniable, and he has become a solid, respected author in his own right. First published in 2004 in the anthology The Third Alternative, The Black Phone was later released in Hill's own collection, 20th Century Ghosts. When director Scott Derrickson read the story, he was struck by Hill's empathetic handling of the Finney character, as well as the hopeful tone, unusual in the horror genre. Like Silence of the Lambs, The Black Phone has been classified as a horror movie. In fact, there's a similar feel between the two. But I would describe this film as a coming-of-age thriller with supernatural elements. The scares are there, they're just different. Derrickson took Hill's short story to his writing partner, C. Robert Cargill. The pair ultimately optioned the story, which they were certain would seamlessly transition to a full-length horror film. They worked separately on the script for 6 weeks, Derrickson during the day, Cargill at night. They added painful personal backstory from Derrick's own childhood in Denver in fleshing out Hill's original characters and creating the kids who give texture to the script. Each kid profiled in the movie is modeled in look and personality to kids from both writers' personal experiences growing up. The Ghost Boys have names like Pinball Vance and the Paper Boy, and at some point between inception and production, Finney's last name was changed from Shaw to Blake. Novelist Hill's sole concern with the translation of his story from page to screen was the treatment of his villain, the Grabber. He modeled his twisted child napper after John Wayne Gacy, the infamous serial killer ultimately apprehended in 1978. Gacy was a portly, out-of-shape independent contractor who dressed as Pogo or Patches the Clown for hospital visits to sick children and various civic events. He appeared to be a harmless, philanthropic business success, memorialized in an infamous archival photo with former First Lady Rosalind Carter. It was this wholesome veneer that disarmed Gacy's victims and enabled him to molest and murder 33 young men and boys, whom he ultimately buried in the crawlspace beneath his Chicago home. Many of these elements are utilized in The Black Phone, and those familiar with Gacy and his horrific crimes will likely make the connection on their own, as I did. Now, for those of you who, like me, avoid stories where kids are molested or physically abused, you should know that while this movie did earn an R rating, there are no scenes depicting any sort of molestation by the Grabber. According to screenwriter Cargill, the creative team chose to not show any sexual violence, instead hinting at it when the Grabber, masked and shirtless, belt in hand, guards the door to the boys' possible escape. Like Gacy, the film's villain is a pedophile, but that horror is implied. The film is rated R for violence, language, bloody images, and some drug use. It is rich in story and character, but refreshingly free of gore and many of the cheap thrills often found in slasher films. I found it to be pretty tame overall, although I did scream like a co-ed in a slasher local teen movie twice. Hill wanted to change the career and overall look of the Grabber, who was originally a clown. But with the success of the 2017 adaptation of King's novel It, featuring the frightful clown Pennywise, Hill hoped to avoid allegations that his villain was derivative. He wanted to eliminate as many comparisons to his father's clown character as possible. He recalled seeing old horror movies from the 1920s and 30s, depicting a costumed magician in one context and a devil in another, performing both parlor and supernatural tricks. The idea resonated with both Derrickson and Cargill, and the idea of using masks in The Black Phone was born. They went to the expert, Tom Savini, the Pittsburgh-based makeup artist known for his terrifying prosthetics, special effects, and memorable monsters. Savini made a name for himself in the 70s when he worked with director George Romero. His projects as a makeup artist and special effects technician include Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow, an installment of Friday the 13th, and Ted Bundy, among many others. The masks in The Black Phone are crucial to the character of the Grabber. The full mask is a toothy, smiling devil, and it's used as a device to further convey the Grabber's gentle side. It's accompanied by one of Ethan Hawke's many voices, this one high-pitched with a chilling sing-song quality. Other masks convey the kidnapper's diabolical side and feature Hawke's underrated, deep, gravelly voice, so perfect for the villainous roles he's rejected in the past. Ethan Hawke is a veteran actor with close to 100 credits under his belt. He began acting in his teens and performed in Dead Poets Society and Alive. He found new success as an intellectual everyman with the team behind the Sinister series and The Black Phone. It was important to Hawke that he remain masked for most of the movie. The sole exception is when we see his first run-in with 13-year-old Finney. By this point, 5 boys have gone missing in the Denver suburb where Finn and his sister Gwen live. So the kid, who seems to be smart and resourceful based on the first act of the film, really should have been on his guard when he runs into a weird, clumsy magician with a gray creeper van. But Finn catches on pretty fast when he spies black balloons through the van's windows. Too late, game over. Finney is snatched up, gassed, and tossed into the van as a handful of black balloons, later reported at the scene of previous abductions, float heavenward. Back at Finney's house, his father Terrence receives the dreaded call. His own son has become the Grabber's latest victim. As an audience, we're not at all sure how Mr. Blake is going to handle the news. He is, to say the least, not the traditional 70s dad like those seen in sitcoms of the day. We're treated to references like the Partridge Family and Happy Days in the dialogue between Finn and 11-year-old Gwen. But their home life boasts no Happy Days, no Marion or Howard Cunningham. Their father, played by veteran actor Jeremy Davies, wavers between raging alcoholic and sorry broken widower trying to raise 2 kids alone. We see in the trailer that Gwenny has some sort of psychic ability, a gift she inherited from her late mother. When she's sleeping, she is sometimes able to tune into the case of the missing local boys. But Father Terrence wants nothing to do with his daughter's dreams and personifies the violence often seen in homes rife with trauma and addiction. The performances of the young principals in the cast are impressive and memorable and give this movie its rich authenticity. Actor Mason Thames makes his film debut in The Black Phone, which is hard to believe given how talented he is. Following an early career in ballet, Thames began acting at age 11. He has appeared in the Apple TV series For All Mankind and won the role of Robbie Knievel in the limited series Evil. He evokes empathy from the start, portraying a reserved kid with a rough home life and a target on his back. He is victimized by several school bullies, an element pulled from director Derrickson's own adolescent experience. At home and at school, Finney squelches his own anger and angst, frustratingly unable to defend himself. But Sister Gwenny has no problem defending herself and Finn against the mean kids at school. Gwen is played by veteran actress Madeline McGraw. Maddie's career started when she was barely out of diapers. She worked on the film American Sniper and has appeared in several TV dramas. She is best known as Zoe Campbell in Disney's Secrets of Sulphur Springs. Gwen looks like Wednesday Addams and fights like Mike Tyson. Her scenes with Brother Finney are among the Black Phone's most memorable, especially the heart-wrenching scene when she is punished by her father for talking about her dreams to the cops who visit her school. According to director Derrickson, the whipping scene is by far the riskiest of his career, and he had to fight to keep it in the movie. It is raw, real, and terrifying. Gwen also provides the movie's only comic relief. She swears like a sailor and has no patience with adults in positions of authority who ask her stupid questions. She displays a vulnerability in her scenes with her brother and Jesus. Several of her quirkiest on-screen moments involve prayer and her absent-mindedly forgetting to close out one conversation with Amen. Whether you're a practicing or lapsed Catholic, those rituals taught in Sunday school are hard to forget. From opening every prayer by blessing oneself to closing out the portal to Jesus with Amen, it was a minor detail that enhanced the Black Phone's believable characters. So, what about that phone? It was the centerpiece of Hill's original story and is used to great effect here. The ring is loud and jarring, and at various points, it visually pulses from the wall. When Finney eventually hears the voices of the grabber's prior victims, including his friend Robin, his resolve to escape finally kicks in. Up to that point, he claims he, quote, tried everything, nothing worked. But he hadn't tried everything, and he ultimately uses the information gleaned from the Ghost Boys to plot his escape from the barren, soundproof basement. The rotary phone is a character in itself, and there are several other characters who add layers of texture to the movie. Sinister's James Ransone makes a brief but memorable appearance as someone with ties to the murderous kidnapper. Then there's Samson. I was fascinated by this canine character, but I was unable to learn much about him in my research. I would describe Samson, heard at various points during the movie but seen only briefly near the end, as the demon dog. He is ripped and snarling, with golden eyes that make him look like a muscled monster created in the Savini studio. Initially, I thought he had to be a Cane Corso, but my internet search showed too many differences. This dog most resembles a breed I had never heard of, a panther dog known as Canis panther. This massive dog was created in the 1970s and consists of 4 large breeds: Black Great Dane, Black Labrador Retriever, Doberman Pinscher, and Black Staffordshire Terrier, often called the Pit Bull. Samson's screen time was memorable, and he would be well utilized as a guard dog at the gates of hell. Without giving away any more of the movie, I will close now with the recommendation that you catch this solid, entertaining film at the theater or when it streams in early August. There's talk of a sequel, since The Black Phone has proven to be a box office hit, critically received by both audiences and the media. According to Scott Derrickson, Joe Hill is considering writing a follow-up story, and the Derrickson-Cargill duo are open to the idea. In their capable hands, it's sure to be another winner. Well, that's it for today. If you like this movie review with its true crime tie-in, please let me know in the comments, and consider checking out my other videos and subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, Scary Clarey out.